put like my Arsenal bias, my emotion to one side of my questions, but sometimes I feel like it's useful. And my feeling, like from an Arsenal perspective at the moment, is immensely frustrated to have dominated the game that much and not won. And particularly in the context that scoring goals and converting dominance has been an issue for Arsenal for a long time. Is that feeling shared by you and the team, and maybe you're dealing with the emotion of that better than I am?
No, agree. That's the frustrating part of today, but I think performance-wise there's so many positives, and I think we're getting closer to converting more, because I think we find better areas to get the ball into the box. Now it's just about how do we time our runs, what's the detail of the final pass, how many numbers do we have in the box, do we frame the box. So I think we're one step further at least. I think we get the ball into the box more often from good positions.
And I was going to ask you actually about a more tactical question now, the half-time change you make, kind of reorganising those three players behind Alesia. Obviously Mariana's more central, she plays that lovely pass in the build-up. Just how much was that change connected to Arsenal's ability to sustain pressure better in the second half?
It was very much connected to that, because we felt like we were in control for most parts in the defensive details of the game. So we were looking at how can we unlock United's defense, and we wanted Mariana closer to the ball more often. And of course, as you know, Beth Mead is her big qualities are in the final third, so her composure, the quality of the final pass, the shots. So that's why we wanted to bring her onto the pitch.
Yeah, hi Renee.
Hey.
You sort of touched on it there in terms of feeling that kind of disappointment to get away from you, but I just wonder, obviously, in the WSL, the difference between sort of 3 points and 1 point can actually be quite big at the end of the season. Is it these games that you just feel it's maybe getting away from you a little bit?
You know that now obviously we've only played 5 games, that's 6 games. But you know that against the top teams, it's going to be important to win, especially from where we come from. So that's why the disappointment is so big today, because I think we do a lot of things really well. Got a lot of involvement from the players, what we want to achieve this block and in this game. And I think we do a lot of those things. So I think performance-wise, a lot of positives. But then again, the disappointment of only 1 point.
And I guess one of those positives was Alesia getting on the score sheet. It's, she played well, just not being able to get that goal. So how big was that for her?
No, but I'm happy for her. She's a great player. She works very hard in trainings every day. She's humble. She asks questions. She wants to get better. She wants to learn. So I think those players with that mindset over time, they're gonna develop. And Alesia is that type of player. So I'm happy for her. I think she's been getting into good positions for a long time. So it's not only about Alesia, it's about how we as a team try to find her as well, and what type of balls we get into the box.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi Renee, I know you've only been in charge for 3 games, but do you feel like the team has evolved at all under your leadership, or is there still kind of more to develop, maybe especially when it comes to converting that pressure into goals, as you talked about?
It's hard. I mean, I think Jonas, over the time he's been at Arsenal, has built a really good foundation with the squad, with the way of playing and everything around it, so with the staff as well. So the foundation was really good. It's really hard under a short period of time to have a real big impact, so we try to be consistent with everything that was already very good, and there was a lot of things that were very good already. We just try and work on the details, so maybe shift to things that we didn't focus on so much before. But as I said, the foundation and all the work that Jonas has done, we're very thankful for.
Yeah, and with that in mind, we know you're in charge until at least the end of this block. Do you have any specific goals or aims in mind for where you'd like the team to be when it comes to the end of this month?
Yeah, we actually very clear with the players. Again, they've had involvement as well at the start of this block. So when we came back from international break, we had a meeting with the players and got their input as well. What in our football do we want to develop? What do we want to focus on? What do we think will bring our game to the next level? So coaches and players together have worked on this, and I think a couple of things that we spoke about, like intensity, ruthlessness in boxes, communication. We could all see that on pitch. That was good today. So I think if we keep on building, I'm positive about the block and the games ahead of us.
Were those the sort of things that were discussed in those meetings, like intensity and ruthlessness? Just to double check.
Sorry?
Just when you talk about the meetings you had with the players,
Yeah.
and things that were discussed, what was discussed? Was it intensity and ruthlessness as you?
Yeah, for example, yeah. And how you play the game, how you start games. We've looked at how our games look. For example, we create chances in the first 15, but we haven't converted enough. And then we know that last 15 we always create a lot. So we've been looking at how can we get the most out of a 90-minute game. So also that, the consistency and concentration of playing a football game, that's part of something we spoke about. Yeah.
Hi Renee. We talked about Alesia's goal, but I'm wondering about Emily Fox's contribution to that goal as well. Please could you just talk a bit about her performance and just how important she has been in goals like that, in kind of getting in behind?
No, Foxy has been, she's played 3 games during this break with the US. Obviously not 90-minute games, but she's played 3 games, involved in 3 games. Came back with a delayed flight and performs like this today. I'm very impressed, and I think she plays a very good game, both defensively and offensively. I think the attack we have on the right side, I haven't seen it back yet, but I think we pass and move on the right side. We keep on moving the ball, and then we have a third player run, which I think is Foxy ending up making that run into the box pocket, and the timing of that run is just great. Her first touch is very good, and then her awareness of the run in the box. So very good part of her performance. But overall, I think Foxy played really well today.
I get the sense very much that the team feels as though the break gave a chance to refresh, and everyone came back quite positive this week. So I'm maybe curious, the reaction you're seeing now post-game to this draw, how does it differ from, say, the Man City draw, for example, which is also a close draw? Like, is there a different mindset now, slightly fresher approach? Like, is there any differences you're noticing mindset-wise?
From what I remember, we were disappointed after City as well, playing at home at the Emirates, having a good performance, good enough performance against top opposition to win the game. So I remember we were disappointed, but and obviously this one is fresh in my head now. But how the players reacted, and obviously, for example, Lia Welty that has the shot on the post, and then this last shot at the final second of the game. I think the girls really kept on working until the final seconds, and they did that really well. But I think they feel like over the game, the full game, we were better than United. And we should have gotten the 3 points, but I think they also reflected upon that they're happy with a lot of things in our performance. And obviously, when the performance is so good, and then you only get the 1 point, the disappointment becomes bigger. But it's constructive. It's constructive. I mean, they all. Sorry, Dan. They all feel very motivated, and they take a lot of positives from the performance.
Catherine? Hi Renee. Talk about the frustration in terms of maybe not converting enough chances. After getting the goal, how kind of frustrating was it to maybe concede what looked like a little bit of a soft point in terms of a set piece, and just obviously something maybe the team struggled with?
Yeah, that is frustrating. But we know Manchester United is a very good team, and they have good individuals as well. They have a lot of qualities. They bring on, I think, 2 players that give them an injection in the game as well. And you know, it's about small margins. It's a cliche, but it's true. If 2 good teams play against each other, it's about the details and the small margins. So obviously, if you concede a corner or you concede a counter-attack, then you know they are going to have the quality to actually do something against you. So that was frustrating. So we'll have a look at it and review that.
Any others? Yeah, about that.
Hi Renee.
Hi.
A lot of positives to take home from today's game, but what do you think was missing to get you over the line and get you the 3 points?
Creating high quality chances. That's still, like I said, the shots on target, that's a really good number, I think, for a top game in the WSL to get 16 shots, but we only get 4 on target, as the stats say that I just saw, and they might be adjusted a little bit later on, but that's not enough. So we need to, as I said, we get better entries into the box. Now we just have to look at how can we create better finishes from those entries into the box.
Awesome. We'll leave it there, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anne.
Steal this bottle.